we used to go to the Northern International Livestock Exposition in Billings, NILE, NILE. We used to show horses there. We would do different events. A lot of it revolved around us having gated horses and being able to do cool different things with the gated horses and to show off some of the training. Why is it that we left and we haven't been back since then? We've also done some booth things there as well, like set up a small booth with our services. But I wanted to kind of share as to anybody who's in the local area, sees us on YouTube, social media, and says, why haven't you been there? Or if anybody sees us from the outside and goes, why don't you visit? Some of the reasons why we left.
Well, good question. Your grandpa and grandma started doing the all of the work on those shows locally here. Not they did some other work on shows like announcing and other places, but kind of put it together. And it was at the Nile, invited the local association.
Through the State Walking Horse Association.
Right. But Wyoming, North Dakota, others could come and show in that as well, because it went towards points to their international or national shows. So that was, not a bad thing. It's a lot of work, a ton of work. They got a little older. You guys got older. We got older. And I think sometimes there just comes a point of saturation. There's an ebb and flow of memberships in associations. And I think we just kind of was a good time where people were either aging out or disinterest, other interests, taking more and more opportunities to do other things. So, but we had usually a booth there that kind of showcased our horses, our training, clinics, that sort of stuff.
We did video sales.
That's right. Too. And so, kind of the same thing. And I put on a couple of demonstration type clinics there. The thing you have to remember inside of what goes on there and some of these larger organizations, there's a ton of politics with them as well that you're not a part of, but it affects you. People that are sitting on the board of directors want to push a certain person or relative or their kids, and so they get kind of headlined, and we were doing a lot of kind of cleanup. They either didn't do well or sometimes backed out.
Yeah.
And so we were asked if we could do something, and we did. And that got a little old doing that without, getting to the opportunity to have a major clinic in there. And I went, what?
And to prep like you would like.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I said, what, we're not going to do this anymore and kind of be the cleanup people. If you don't want us, that's okay. But I'm not gonna, kind of keep bailing you out. And that was that. So
yeah.
And I think the person that was running it didn't have the control over that. It's all done by their board. And so again, the politics are rampant, and the people that are on the board aren't doing the work generally. They're making decisions that somebody else is hired to do, and sometimes it doesn't go well. So
Sure.
That's basically why we quit doing that at that location.
We went to a lot of
those. Geez, I don't know how many years we did that.
Yeah,
a lot of years.
I would say good. I remember a lot of my childhood about fall time frame. It would have been about a week or two before Halloween. We would go because there was always a costume type event, and that was typically our costumes were themed towards that. So I think I was like a gunslinger one year. We were doing medieval knights one year.
I've got one here of the two of you in gladiator stuff.
We were knights. She's got a picture actually. Sitting here.
We were medieval knights, man.
On a desk.
The glass is broken on the frame. I should fix that. Can you see it?
Kind of, but yeah, we're medieval knights, and that's
are.
Flax.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Flexi boy. He was game for
and
anything.
Braden didn't want to ride, but he would be your
He's your sidekick.
My squire.
Squire,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
So, yeah,
because I think that was shortly after or right around the time that he had gotten his horse during one of the events shook really bad, and he was so little he couldn't hold on, and he fell off and got his wind knocked out of him. And he was a little scared.
Yeah, I'd say this was about 3 and 5.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But there was a lot of my childhood that was like that. We would go do that, and then as soon as that was done, it was Halloween time. So
right,
yeah.
Yep.
Now,
and NILE still is doing things. I mean,
we went to a couple after we were no longer involved, but I haven't seen one for a while because it's during the teachers convention, and I usually am kind of busy during that time too.
But I don't see advertised a lot of clinics there anymore either.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, so
that's what
it used
my
to
next.
Have
that was my follow-on question was, is it more, is part of that, do you think, because it shifted from horses and cattle to now it seems, at least from outside perspective, to be more cattle centric? Is that what kind of happened? Or
well, it's always been they've always had shows there, cattle, and expos for that during that
trying to promote
yeah.
agriculture.
Yeah, it's just that the horses were a big part of it as well. And yeah, they've gotten away from some of that. And I don't know why. I don't know anybody involved with it anymore that could tell me or would tell me, what the actual reasoning is.
Yeah, it was just
people are afraid to say anything too who work for that because it is so political. Their
job security. I understand that. So
I'm just looking to see if there's anything here on the NILE site as far as like a schedule.
A lot of rodeos. I mean, they do the rodeo thing.
I remembered one time they had the Budweiser horses come in and they were able to showcase the Budweiser horses, if I remember right.
Yep. They did that at the fair, I think. I don't know if it was at NILE. I think that was more the fair during the 4-H and FFA, with all of the sale animals and the shows.
Yeah. And that might be the case, but I distinctly remember it was one of the later years. They had at least a draft horse expo, which I think you guys attended like last summer. It would have been during that time though, and they had the different classes of teams of 2 up to teams of 8, 10, whatever, and seeing how the drivers were able to control those massive teams and all that, because that's an impressive thing. To be able to do a team of 2, relatively easy. It exponentially gets harder as you add a couple head here per row. You're like, okay, now I got some
keep
work
adding
ahead.
pairs, and it just yep, that's right. Yeah, and they've had that in Metra inside, where they're doing their maneuvers in there. So that's absolutely right.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's
yeah, they're having a trade show. That's usually where we had the booth.
Right.
They're advertising it.
They usually have a dogs, competition for stock dogs.
We'd always want to go see one of those. And last year, what was it? We were gonna go and it got canceled, or did we just miss it?
I think
maybe we just missed it.
It's just a typical thing. Unless you're committed to it and involved with it, and some small thing comes up,
you just don't see it.
You don't tend to go, or it can be put aside. Others always next year, but if you're involved with it, you're committed. You're going. It's not going to change that. So, and we just haven't been committed the last. I don't know what's it been.
15 years.
10 years.
He graduated 12 years ago. 11 years
getting
ago.
Away. So yeah.
So it's been at least 15.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really why.
Okay. Well, that's us in the NILE and why we haven't been there. So with that, we'll take that conversation and put it out to pasture.